Hello, and welcome to On the Turf, hosted by three guys who have never been on the turf. My name is Arjun Ryan.
I'm Kamil, and I'm Rohan.
And as you can see, Shri could not join us today. This is quite unfortunate that Shri hasn't been here. All four of us really haven't been together much this season, it seems, so far. But we're happy to welcome Kamil back. It's been a great week 3, and I don't know if any team had a better week 3 than the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, yes.
3-0 start. I'll give you the floor. You can talk all about it.
Let me just say, I'm far and away the greatest analyst.
Okay, it's 3 weeks. It is 3 weeks. We have done this for the past 2 seasons.
No, but it's a different story now, because when you had Ken Dorsey running this offense, it was just this hodgepodge of deep running plays, random shotgun inside zones on second and long, and just no cohesiveness whatsoever. What Joe Brady has done with this offense is he has taken multiple pieces, placed around Josh Allen, let Josh Allen use his mind, put him into a system that works for him, lots of pre-snap motion, and he understands fundamentally the weaknesses of a defense and the strengths of our own offense. And it's been a beautiful result, and I think it's going to keep going, and we're just going to steamroll the league. I think I was too low on them. I had them going 14-3. I think this is a 17-0 type season.
Okay, great.
Okay, wow.
Very measured takes from Kamil.
He started off saying he was the best analyst of us, and then ended by saying the Bills are going 17-0.
If the Bills, let's say at midseason the Bills are, say, 6-4. God forbid.
That won't happen.
Are you? I just want to know.
Happen.
Are the Fire McDermott chance going to start again?
I mean, that's like saying what happens if RFK wins the election. You're dealing with
he's on the ballot. But yeah, the Bills are off to a great start. The Steelers also off to a 3-0 start.
Yeah, top of the AFC.
Let's go, top of the AFC.
Well, listen, we had tougher opponents. We had tougher opponents than both of you. Right?
I don't know about that.
Excuse me. We had the Lions. We had the Rams,
the injured,
and
Rams.
we had the Bills.
Half their team was in the emergency department.
Yeah, and we won that game. Who did you have? You had
the Chargers.
Chargers are a solid team.
The Falcons.
Falcons are in.
And the Broncos.
Falcons are good.
Falcons are a good team.
Falcons are bad.
Falcons are bad. Oh my God, Falcons are bad.
Okay, sorry, no, I meant Broncos are bad.
Broncos just got a big one against the Buccaneers.
Falcons are solid. But that was the first game.
Yeah, Falcons week 1 isn't.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins was not mobile.
Yeah.
You can make all the excuses you want. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
They're not excuses. I'm just
defense is averaging 8 points per game.
We're at a very good 1-2. We're at a strong 1-2 right now.
Yeah,
I like the Cardinals.
I think the Cardinals are going to be a good team too. But across the NFL, a lot of interesting stories. Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings off to a 3-0 start. Yeah. Don't think any of us, including Shri, a Vikings fan, had that on our bingo card. The Packers going 2-0 without Jordan Love. Setting up for a game we're going to talk about in a little bit, Minnesota at Green Bay this weekend with Jordan Love coming back. A lot of interesting stories around the league. A lot of interesting quarterback play, too. We're not seeing very traditional, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Well, Josh Allen's doing pretty good. Lamar, Joe Burrow. What we traditionally associate our top 5 quarterbacks to be are not necessarily top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL playing right now. So I think would be a fun exercise for us is to discuss all of our top 5 quarterbacks right now in terms of who's played and who's shown off the highest level of play. So let's start with number 5. Kamil, I'll turn it over to you first. Who's your number 5?
The 5th best quarterback in the league right now at this moment, in my opinion, Derek Carr. I know he had a bit of a bad game against the Eagles, but I still think it's very hard to overlook what he did those first 2 games. And I think he'll have a nice bounce back next week.
I don't know about Derek Carr. I feel like it might be a little fool's gold. Those first 2 games, feasting on the Panthers.
I agree, but it's just where they're at right now.
True. Yeah. I think he has had the production. My number 5 is a guy I have much maligned, but have to support a great quarterback, which is Lamar Jackson.
At 5?
Okay, Lamar has been playing okay. He did get out to an 0-2 start. Let's be real here. He had a pretty. I'd say he had a good game against the Chiefs. They kind of got away with them against the Raiders, and he was handing the ball off a lot against the Cowboys, but he was very efficient whenever he threw the ball. Lamar Jackson is just. He's willing this team right now, in my opinion. This offensive line is
not a very good roster.
Huh?
It's not a very good roster.
Their offensive talent, especially, has really been depleted. Their offensive line is not at all what we'd expect from the Ravens. Weapons, you really only got Zay Flowers, and defense is looking a little suspect, and which is just amazing to see as a Steelers fan. But Lamar Jackson is my number 5 right now.
All right, my number 5. I think That was a good analysis of Lamar, but I think that puts him at a lot higher than 5. My 5 is a guy that I think none of us expected to be here right now, Jaden Daniels.
Oh, that's a good.
I was flirting with
that's a good one.
This kid's been good. He's been really, really good. I think with a lot of other quarterbacks, you see some weaknesses in their play. You see some, especially quarterbacks that have played in the league before, you know what you're going to get with them. You know, for example, Derek Carr, he's going to come back down earth at some point. Jaden Daniels hasn't shown any signs of that so far. He's currently second in the league in rushing yards for a quarterback, just behind Lamar. He hasn't turned the ball over yet, I don't think. No picks yet. He has 6 touchdowns through the air, and that Bengals game, I think, really cemented himself as of now, right now, I think easily top 10, maybe top 5 quarterback currently. He's throwing the ball great. He's taking hits in the pocket. He's not someone who's just one-dimensional, who looks to run the ball. He's really sitting in the pocket, making good throws. I think he looks really good right now.
That's a good one. I'm going to be honest, when I was making my list, I forgot Jaden Daniels existed, so...
6, right?
I also had him at 6.
No, did you?
All right, number 4.
Give me Sam Darnold.
Okay.
On the Minnesota Vikings. He's playing incredible. I mean, I we did our quarterback segment, and I'll eat crow. I was very wrong. I was pounding the table for him at F. I was like, what I was saying, like, what do we have with Darnold? Why are we still believing in Darnold? Well, this is why people still believe in Darnold, because he's a gunslinger, and when he's in the right system and he has weapons around him, and
Midwestern ethos.
Exactly. When he's leaning into that Midwestern ethos, he's a real threat.
He's a California kid. Colin Coward. My number 4. You guys are not going to like this whatsoever.
It's Justin Fields. Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, my God.
Aaron Rodgers is off to an amazing start after coming off an Achilles.
He's high.
He's alright. He looks like prime Aaron Rodgers. He's back, baby. Did you see that game against the Patriots?
What do you put him, like 24 points is his highest right now?
Are we just looking at points? Look at his production. He had over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Quintessential Aaron Rodgers performance against the Titans.
2 touchdowns.
Very much in command. No, 2 touchdowns through the air. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And, against the 49ers, he had some characteristic Aaron Rodgers throws. Obviously, first game back off the Achilles. Look, maybe all the stats don't support it, but right now Aaron Rodgers is one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football. I think he's going to continue on that. And I think this Jets team, with the way the AFC is clearing out right now, I think this Jets team looks pretty primed for the playoffs and maybe more beyond that. But Aaron Rodgers coming off the Achilles doing a great job. Number 4 quarterback in the NFL right now.
He's fine in my opinion right now. I think I watched the Patriots game, he made some great throws, but look at the quality of competition so far, the 2 wins he's gotten so far. I think it's a bit too early to vault him all the way up there yet. I know I just put a rookie quarterback at number 5, but I'm not sold. I'm not sold fully yet. But for my number 4, I'm back in Kamil here, Sam Darnold. Leads the league in touchdowns right now. He's looked great. Only thrown 2 picks on the year, which is a pretty usual Sam Darnold problem, I think, is his turnovers, his inability to read the field. But looks great so far. I think he'll fall from this top 5 eventually. But as of now, you got to put him there.
All right, number 3.
Yeah, give me Rohan. You'll like this. Give me Kyler Murray.
Oh, whoa! I didn't even have him in my top 5.
I think the play is there. He's been playing great. I know they had a rougher week 3, but those first 2 games, I think it shows what this Cardinals offense should be with Kyler Murray under helm. I think it's what it's gonna be going forward. You have great top line talent on that Cardinals team. Marv at wide receiver 1, Trey McBride tight end 1, James Conner RB1. I think you just have Kyler running around, making his reads, scrambling, making deep shots. It's fun to watch. I mean, he's playing great football, and he's one of the quarterbacks I'm more confident in this top 5 to stay at that level.
I think Kyler is going to work his way up. I think get him a few more games with Marvin Harrison. There's still an annoying amount of, I think, miscommunication or.
It seems he's forcing the ball to him now. Whereas in the first game, he wasn't necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily forcing the ball. There's just some misses too. I saw some misses in the game against the Lions where he's overthrowing anything a little bit. I think that'll get worked out with chemistry. And once he's there, I'm on board top 5. He'll get there.
Well, he just looks great too.
He looks great. No, he does look
great.
great.
He looks, especially compared to the rest of the quarterback player.
Number 3, I'm going to do Sam Darnold. Basically, the same reasons you guys said. Think he's going to fall eventually, but got to put him up here for the level of play he's doing right now. 3-0 start for them. Just picture a perfect start for the Vikings so far.
Number 3 for me, I'm going to take Lamar here. He's
crazy take.
It's really not that crazy. I mean, he's the best rushing quarterback in the league. He has 250 rush yards through 3 games so far. which I think is pretty incredible. You talked about them
handing the running back.
You talked about them handing the ball off the entire time to
Top 5 running back.
Okay. You talk about them running the ball all the time. A big part of that is Lamar Jackson. I don't know why we talk about quarterbacking like it's just passing. That's one part of the game, and he excels in the other part.
It's pretty important.
It's pretty important.
No, I guess it's pretty important.
There's really another whole position created for running. But,
no, but I mean, come on, Lamar. Let's see. Lamar hasn't been a bad quarterback by any means, passing wise either. I mean, he's been solid, but when you look at the impact that he has on the ground, I think it more than makes up for that.
He has passing
yards, 3 touchdowns
at the very least.
I mean, come on,
throw to who is it? Rashad Bateman
to Zay Flowers in the end zone. Yeah, sure. I mean, there's going to be misses every now and then, but Lamar is
critical,
as
misses.
you said,
pretty big misses.
Sure,
for a top 3 quarterback.
As you said, Lamar's the guy who's carrying this Ravens team right now. I think he's easily top 3.
All right, runner up, number 2.
Give me Brock Purdy.
That's mine too.
Yeah, he's just been playing great.
Yeah,
and you hear so much. First of all, everybody trash talks Brock Purdy, and they say that he's a product of his weapons and he doesn't have any talent. He's carried. This year, his weapons have been dragging him down, and he's had to make do with what he has. Feeding Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings is really his best weapon right now.
Exactly. Ayuk is dropping passes left and right. He's running lazy routes. But Brock Purdy, I think he's leading the league in adjusted EPA.
Yeah,
even above Josh Allen. I know his regular EPA is far ahead of Purdy, but that speaks to how poor the team around him is playing and how well Purdy is playing. And dude, I really think we got to stop the narrative against Brock Purdy about him being just a dude that's carried by his weapons. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think the last game against the Rams, even though it lost, I think that's solidified for me. Brock Purdy is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. Well. Just like, I'm not even saying like right now. I mean like overall when we're looking back at the season, Brock Purdy is a superstar in his own right. Mm-hmm. Even lacking all the talent around him, he was making magic happen.
He's mobile too.
Yeah, he's Kyle Shanahan's dream.
Are you agreeing for Brock Purdy too?
Yeah,
or?
too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm realizing now maybe I should put Brock Purdy in this top 5. He maybe should have been number 5. But for number 2, I can't stray away. Give me Patrick Mahomes.
What?
I understand that this has been a rough start for him to the year, but we're talking about quarterbacks. You're talking about who's the best top 5 in the league right now. Even right now, the rough start. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is undebatably a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, right
now he's been pretty bad.
Dude. He's been missing passes.
Rough. He's been rough, but he's 3-0 still. He hasn't gotten Kelsey going yet. I don't think Kelsey's gotten himself going yet.
Kelsey might just be washed.
I think Kelsey might be washed, but I think they'll turn it up eventually. The Rashee Rice connection looks great so far. Xavier Worthy looks great so far. Give him some time to gel with a few new weapons, and I think he'll figure it out. And listen, I mean, you can't understate 3-0, and you can't understate Patrick Mahomes. All right. I have no stats to back this up. It's just Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Pause right here.
So Kamil made us pause the recording here because, I'll just let him take it from here. I believe we all have the same number 1.
Yeah. At number 1. There's a consensus pick, actually.
That's what all of us agreeing means.
The greatest quarterback in the league, in my opinion, far and away, Joshua Patrick Allen. And when you watch this guy, let me bring it to contemporary age. All right,
I'll just get out of frame.
Yeah.
Think Anthony Richardson, right? And how much of a physical freak he is, but how raw he is. That was Josh Allen coming into the league. And look at him now. Look at how good he is now. With how few snaps he has had coming into the league. He's getting better and better and better and better. And you watch him play and you see it. He's getting smarter. He's getting more comfortable with his play. He understands what to do in each moment. And I think it's really terrifying because I truly believe there's no quarterback out there in the league who can match his physical traits. And if the mental game is really there and the scheme as well, with the way it's looking like right now, I think he's unstoppable. Like I think these performances are just going to be like a weekly thing because he's just so fucking good, dude. Like he is ridiculous. Like I don't think anybody can deny this. He's a deity of football. What he does on the field, these throws he's making. That throw to Ty Johnson, rolling left, the little flick on third down. He makes it look so easy. It's so his mechanics are perfect right now. He's hitting every receiver perfectly in stride. He's going through his reads quickly. He's commanding the line. He's just so good, man.
Are you finished?
And you know what, man? I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful that I get to watch Josh Allen play football for the Buffalo Bills.
We are also blessed.
Like, what a treat. You have Justin Fields. Like,
Like
good for you.
Just not necessarily.
Not good for you. You guys are 3-0, but like it's Justin Fields, you know.
All right, you're done here. All right, had our little soliloquy. Are you happy with that?
I'm very happy.
Yeah. Okay, you got his time. All right, but that is our top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Let's move on to Week 4 of the 2024 NFL season. The first game we're going to discuss: Vikings-Packers. We have already talked about Sam Darnold, how good of play he's showing. But what we haven't talked about is this Vikings defense, who's really showing out. Brian Flores, maybe the best defense coordinator in the NFL right now. Maybe we'll see if he gets a head coaching job again after this year, after his little soiree in Miami. But Packers, Jordan Love could be coming back. Big for this team. Malik Willis really showed out, but Matt LaFleur gets his quarterback back. I believe the Packers are favored by 1.5 at home in Lambeau. Rohan, initial read on this game. Who are you picking?
This is tough. I think it's an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, so to speak. I think Matt LaFleur has this Packers offense humming. If Jordan Love is back, they're even more dangerous. But on the other side of the ball, Brian Flores is taking this Minnesota defense that really shouldn't be that great, and he's made them a juggernaut. I mean, the way he schemes blitzes, the way he gets after the quarterback, I think, is unlike any other defensive coordinator in the league, outside maybe Steve Spagnuolo. I think it's a tough game to call for me. I don't know when the Sam Darnold train, if it does, first of all, or when it will eventually derail. I think it's not going to hit yet. I think Brian Flores is going to frustrate Jordan Love in his first game back. I expect him to be a little bit uncomfortable coming off an injury. Maybe not as mobile as he usually is. Don't get me wrong, Jordan Love's an elite quarterback. He will be. But I think this is a tough game for him in the first game back. I'll take the Vikings in a relatively low-scoring game, 17-13.
Give me the Packers, man. Jordan Love's coming back. This is going to be huge for this team, huge for Jordan. Look, I believe 16 or 17 last year on New Year's Eve, the Vikings played the Packers, Brian Flores' defense, and Jordan Love went to absolute town on this defense. 3 touchdowns in the first half, I believe. Over 300 yards, and I believe he's going to do that again. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a good game, maybe a turnover here and there. What people are not talking about enough is this Packers defense. Leading the NFL in turnovers right now, getting over Jeff Hafley from Boston College to be the defense coordinator. They're just flying around, making big plays. Xavier McKinney, Lucas Van Ness, Rashawn Gary.
Jair Alexander, too.
Jair, pick 6 last week.
Vintage Jair.
This defense is really good. I'm going to trust the better quarterback and the better coach here. Give me Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love. I'll say the Packers win 24-21.
I think this is a very tough game to predict, and I think it speaks to the quality of coaching on both sides.
Yeah,
because I can see Jordan Love and LaFleur coming out and just smashing this Vikings defense. I can also see it very well going the other way, with Flores cooking up a nice game plan and managing to make Love uncomfortable in his first game back. Same thing on the other side of the field. KOC and Darnold could just dice up the Packers defense. Well, the Packers defense could also pick off Darnold 3 times and make him come down to earth. So yeah, very tough game to predict. I'm gonna go with the Vikings just because it's hard to bet on Jordan Love in his first game back. I do think he's gonna be good, and the Packers will be good when he comes back. But transition game, this is a tough one. Is it at the Vikings?
At Lambeau.
At Lambeau. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll still go Vikings, but it'll be a good game, very close one.
Yeah, this probably is my most excited game for the weekend. But let's talk about Bills Ravens Sunday Night Football. Bills are back on national TV, third time in a row.
Time in a row, dude.
Yeah. This is 2018 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Arguably 2 of the best 3 quarterbacks in the league. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. We've already talked about these 2 quarterbacks. Kamil, I'll let you lead off because I know you're going to pick the Bills, but
sure.
Try to give a measured take as much as you can.
I do think the Bills will win this game. First of all, because I think they're the better team, and second of all, you look at the Ravens and their weaknesses. Offensive line injured right now, not looking very good. You have a front 4 in Buffalo that's really playing out of their minds right now. Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, a great TT pairing. Greg Russo breaking out. Von Miller's back to at least 80% of what Von Miller was back then. 3 sacks already, so it's gonna make it a tough time for Lamar. On top of that, they have a very tough pass defense right now. I think they're 31st in the league in ranking. And I just think Brady and Allen are going to come out with another great game plan and just slice and dice them apart and do whatever works. The one path I see for the Ravens here is through the rushing game. I think they'll be able to keep it down and bottle it up as we've seen in past years with Bills Ravens games. And overall, I think it's going to be like a 10-point victory for the Bills.
So, the score prediction?
I'll go 30-21.
Okay. I'm going to pick the Bills as well. I think for me, what wins the game for the Bills is the pass rush versus that Ravens offensive line. We saw the Raiders make Lamar uncomfortable with Max Crosby. I think Buffalo has a really good deep rotation of pass rushers with Rousseau, with Von Miller, and with a variety of other. Is Epinesa still there? Yeah. So I think that's going to win the game for Buffalo. I think it could be a fairly low-scoring game, at least with how much with these two quarterbacks are involved. I expect the Ravens to run the ball pretty well, but I think it comes down to Lamar on a last-minute drive, and I trust that Buffalo pass rush to get after him. Give me Buffalo 21-17. I believe the Ravens are actually favored in this game, though. Interesting, because I think it's at home in Baltimore.
Yeah, I wouldn't favor the Ravens, but I will pick them. I think
I just expected, honestly.
He's got to get the 8-9 prediction.
Yeah,
you need some losses somewhere.
That wasn't a great prediction, was it? No, but here's my reasoning. I think the Bills' best game, or the Bills' toughest game so far, was against the Cardinals. And you saw in the first half, I think Kyler Murray, James Conner were able to get some stuff done. Kyler Murray playing, sort of out of the pocket, playing out of his primary reads. Yeah, out of structure. That's the word I was looking for. And you have a guy who can do that better in Lamar Jackson, and a better running game in Derrick Henry. And I think if the Ravens can sort of play a game where Lamar controls the game in terms of his ability to just avoid the pass rush, run with the ball, if Derrick Henry can, get good gains on first, second down, set up third and manageables, and they can control the clock, if you keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hand, that's a recipe for success, in my opinion. And we saw that last week with the Cowboys, when the Ravens played the Cowboys. Quite frankly, there's nothing really to dig on here on the Bills. I just think that if the Ravens play their game, they can win this. If they can play a game where, they don't let Josh Allen get the ball too much, if they can play a game where they can at least bottle up and run a little bit with James Cook and force Josh Allen to make throws to a receiving group that, respectfully, doesn't have the same talent as some of the other better receiving groups.
No understanding of the scheme whatsoever, but that's fine.
No. I'm just saying Josh Allen's great and these receivers are good, but in terms of the pure talent, there's no true number one in this receiving group. And if you make a game where Josh Allen has to throw the ball, and they just keyed in on throwing the ball, I think you can have a better chance of shutting down these receivers.
I really disagree.
Bad taker.
All right, we'll see.
The thing with offense is just so many options that could kill you at any time. Like, you never know who it's going to go to. And that's what makes it so difficult.
That's true. And the Ravens' defense has looked suspect, especially their secondary. Devontae Adams tore them up 2 weeks ago. So I by no means do I think that this is going to be a rough offensive game for the Bills. But I think the Ravens do have a path to success here. I think that's what they're going to take. I'll take them 20-17.
All right, last game we're going to talk about on Monday Night Football, Lions-Seahawks. Seahawks undefeated. I don't think we really talked about them that much the first couple weeks of the season. Undefeated, good defense. Mike McDonald. I think the Ravens' defense is feeling his loss. That Seattle defense is, I believe, the top 5 defense in most relevant categories. Geno Smith is playing some really good ball.
Nice running game.
The good running game with Charbonnet, and hopefully Kenneth Walker can come back, and DK Metcalf is showing he's a number one receiver in this league. What do you guys think? The Lions, for a lot of us, were NFC picks. For me, personally, I think they're the best team in the NFC right now. I'm going to take the Lions here. I think the Lions are the better team. I think the Seahawks are going to be a good team. I expect the Seahawks to be a playoff team as well. But the Lions are they're built to win in this kind of game. I think they can dominate in the trenches, get David Montgomery going, use Jahmyr Gibbs in the passing game to spell him. I think the passing game might be a little tough for the Lions this week against a really good Seattle secondary. But I trust Jared Goff to make the right reads on play action and trust this offensive line running game more than anything. But the Seahawks are going to put up a good fight. But give me the Lions, I'll say 31. I'll say 27-24.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Seahawks. There's a couple factors working that way for me. Number one, Jared Goff just is not playing that well right now. I think he's bottom 10 in just about every metric you could find. And I think he's going to get better as the season goes along. I just think early right now, first month, with the Seahawks defense that is very good, I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle for him. And on top of that, you have a Seahawks team that they just kind of have that juice right now, They're coming out the gate, new OC, defense looks nice, refreshed. They have like a formula to winning, Just establish the running game, play hard-nosed defense, let Geno take his shots whenever you need him to, and then they make it work. DK down the field as well. And I think they're going to come into this game, and it's going to be a bit of a statement for them on the road, on the path to 4-0.
Yeah, I don't know. These are two teams that I don't really trust that much. I don't trust the Seahawks schedule so far. I don't think they've really played a competitive team yet, and they got taken to overtime by a pretty bad Patriots team. And as for the Lions, I don't trust their offense right now. It was a rough outing against the Buccaneers. It was a rough outing against the Cardinals. They didn't score a single second half point. So I don't know. I don't know how to get a good read in either of these teams. But if I have to choose right now, I'm picking the Lions. I think their run game, they just need to lean on that more. I think they just need to run the ball more. And make things easier for Jared Goff. This is a very talented Seahawks secondary between Reek Woolen, Devin Witherspoon. It's, dare I say, Legion of Boom-esque.
They could be putting it together.
No, with hard-hitting corners, with physical corners, I think they really have it. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Seahawks offense is where it needs to be right now. The Lions are looking really, really good on defense. I think they've done great so far. I think their secondary looks better. They're in the trenches great. Aiden Hutchinson looks great. So I think
7.5 sacks.
Yeah,
through 3 games, which is insane.
And leading pressures too.
Yeah,
Depoy.
Whoa, that's crazy for you.
Could be a depoy. I like Hutch. But TJ can't get it.
Can I also just say I was right that he's better than Trayvon Walker?
Yes,
he never should have been drafted number 1. But
I don't think any of us were really arguing.
Everybody agrees.
We were just saying Trayvon Walker was going to be one. We weren't arguing that he shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just really hated Trayvon Walker. But anyways, giving the Lions 30-24, I think this is the game that their offense really picks it up and their defense will make some key stops.
We haven't really talked about the Jags. Sorry, just because we brought up Trayvon Walker.
Jags stink, dude.
I just kind of just ad hoc. What did the Jags do? What do you guys think?
You fired Doug
Peterson. Arguably, like, in week 5.
If they lose this week, you think...
he's playing for his job right now. They're terrible.
And I think they do lose this week, right? They're playing... I think
they're playing Houston, yeah.
They're playing the Texans. I don't think that's a game you win right now with the way they're playing.
I think at home.
You never know, dude.
At Trevor Bank Stadium.
There's some fun divisional games, especially...
Jaguars have been good against the Texans before.
No, AFC South divisional games get funky, like every division. Really.
That's true, but...
The Texans haven't looked that crisp.
They haven't, but the Jags look awful.
No, I agree, yeah.
Jaguars arguably... The Cleveland Browns didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, the Browns beat the Jaguars. Jaguars might look like the worst team in the league right now. Actually, yeah, that's a fun question. Why not? Who's the worst team in the league right now?
I think they're the worst coached right now.
I would say the worst team in the league right now is the Dolphins. Without Tua.
I disagree. I think the Dolphins can still put up a fight in a lot of games.
They didn't put up a fight last week, but if they start...
I'm sorry.
If they start Tyler Huntley, maybe I'd say that they're not the worst team because I think Tyler Huntley's a serviceable NFL quarterback, unlike Skylar Thompson. But I don't know.
I do think McDaniel can scheme up some good games for them every now and then.
Worst team contenders could be, the Browns, Jaguars.
Yeah, I think
Browns at least win.
The issue with the Jaguars,
Patriots.
This is just like a pattern in the cycle of Doug Peterson. He comes in, he gets you a good start, then there's stagnation, and it's just a free fall.
And he puts Press Taylor, offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think the two worst teams that in between are the Titans and Jags, both the AFC South teams. I'm not saying
I don't know. I think the Titans.
Titans can pull out a few games. Though,
if Will Levis stops being a dumbass, they could win. Actually, they could. A lot of these games are.
Yeah, it's crazy that the Panthers are not in this conversation anymore. But Andy
Dalton, the Red Rifle.
Yeah, honestly, I think you're right. I think it's the Jags. The Jags look really bad. They look
outclassed and
which they shouldn't be. Like they have talent on that team.
Yeah, everything that they need.
It's really just the coaching.
Yeah.
Like they just look.
And maybe the quarterback.
Yeah. T-Law, dude.
But we're talking about a lot of negative things right now. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about players that haven't gotten their due shine this year. I mean, it's only 3 weeks. So what do you guys think? Who's a player in the NFL right now that's very underrated, not getting the praise they deserve, who's playing at a high level?
Yeah, I'll start. You actually mentioned him briefly earlier, but Xavier McKinney of the Packers, he's been, I think that was a signing that really people didn't pick much up on throughout the offseason, but that was a really great signing by the Packers. He's looked great so far. He currently leads the league in picks at 3. He has played shutdown opposite of Jair Alexander. This is a Packers team that really hasn't given teams much defensively, especially in terms of quarterback play. I think it's really been stifled. He's graded really well in PFF, and I think he's a player that I don't think many would have expected him, or many would have viewed him as a player that's going to be high level, that's going to be elite. But playing outside of Jair Alexander, this is a really great cornerback duo that they have now.
He's a safety.
Safety.
Yeah. Shit. It's okay. Xavier McKinney is very good. Go Pack, go.
Yeah.
I'll let you go.
I was originally going to go Khalil Shakir.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Wait, I would say
Well,
Khalil Shakir then.
I think he's been getting a little more recognition though. Right
Yes,
now.
I think he's been getting enough, quite frankly.
Well, regardless, he's very good.
In fantasy circles, I've seen.
Yeah, last 23 receptions he's called, and he's a stud. But anyways, my actual pick, I'll stay in the Bills. It's Christian Benford, our cornerback one, arguably over Rasul Douglas. And a lot of guys just do not know how good he is. I mean, he's graded at the top of just about every ranking for cornerbacks. He's shutting down teams. Held Marv to a catch in 4 yards. Who did we play week 2? Dolphins. Tyreek. Tyreek didn't do jack shit. And then you had
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas, both held to nothing. And this is play dating back to last year. And I watch him play, you watch him play, dude, he's locking up everybody. He looks like a Sauce Gardner type level cornerback, but for whatever reason the name recognition just isn't there. He doesn't get his respect. Because he's not a very flashy guy, he's not going out there making big plays, or not even big plays, but he's not playing with that type of swagger that attracts attention to cornerbacks. He's a much more quiet one that just goes in, does his job, and does it phenomenally. And he's not getting recognition because of that. And I think it's a shame.
Yeah, did not know how good he was. Good for Christian Bedford. I'm going to talk about someone I think we talked about the Vikings defense. Jonathan Grenard, their star defensive end. A lot of people thought when Minnesota lost Danielle Hunter this past offseason that they would struggle on the pass rush. And he went to the Texans, and Jonathan Grenard came from the Texans, signed with the Vikings. And he's been, the leading edge rusher for that team on a pass rush that leads the NFL in sacks right now. Top 5 in pressures, I believe. He's faced also a very good first couple of tackles. In week 1, he faced Andrew Thomas, one of the best left tackles in football. Week 2, faces Trent Williams, arguably the best tackle in football. In week 3, faces off against who they play week 3, Laramie Tunsil of the Texans. So
that's a tough lineup.
That's a tough lineup, and they're still generating pressure, still generating sacks. This guy could be a sneaky decoy if TJ Watt did not exist, because he will win a second at the end of this year, and hopefully finally get the recognition he deserves because he's been robbed 2 years. Already 2 years.
What is this,
last year,
What's the stop?
Honestly, suddenly he was up and then he was down. I don't understand it. Make it make sense. Dead voters in PFF. Anyway, that's about it from this episode of On the Turf. Thank you guys so much for listening. We have a great week 4 ahead of us. Maybe the Bills will get to 4-0. Maybe the Steelers will get to 4-0, beat the Colts. Maybe the Cardinals can get to 2-2. Against the Commanders.
Why do you say our name with such
contempt?
Derisiveness?
Well, they deserve derision.
That was the word, not derisiveness.
But thank you guys so much for listening. Check out our Instagram for picks, power rankings, and more. My name is Arjun Ryan.
I'm Kamil Mdani.
And I'm Rohan Patel.
And we'll see you next week in week 5 on the Turf.